Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back or welcome to my podcast, Rewired to Inspire. I am your host, Jessie Brown, and I am very excited to be jumping on the microphone with you all for episode number 195. If you missed my last episode, number 194, we talked about, is it time to take a leap of faith? I recorded that episode very much in the heat of my emotions, and going into it, I really didn't know what was going to come out of my mouth. And I've been finding it funny that you guys have been messaging me, noticing some of the things that I said in that episode. And so A, thank you for tuning in, and B, I'm so glad that we can have conversations about these things and laugh about certain things that sometimes in the moment feel really hard and challenging, but once you're directly out of them, it's a lot easier to find humor in it and to just find solitude in knowing that the decisions that we make and when we take leaps of faith, sometimes it doesn't always feel like it's the right move or the right decision until we're out of it and we're able to process and clear our mind, and then it all starts to make a little bit more sense. So for me, since that last episode, it has been a couple of days. My nervous system has definitely settled down. And I just have to say, since I took that leap of faith, everything energetically has felt so much lighter. I have felt more like myself. Opportunities have been presenting themselves. And this is in the span of less than a week. And it just really showed me that we cannot expect for new things to come in, new opportunities, new people, whatever, if we don't clear out what is no longer serving us. That means that we are constantly faced with challenges and feeling uncomfortable because it's not easy when we take those leaps, because we're not certain of anything, as I talked about in that episode. However, there has never been a time in my life where I've taken a leap of faith and it didn't turn out better than it was before. And I want to give that awareness, because if you've never taken a leap before and you've never given yourself that awareness before, you might not feel like that's true for you. But I am not some special person who has all the answers or has done these magnificent things. You and me are really no different. And so I promise you that if you make those leaps in yourself and you trust in your gut and your intuition and your soul that what you're doing for the right reasons and intentions, it will pay back in some way, shape, or form. And again, it might not be right away. You have to be patient and you have to look for the ways in which it is serving you once you've made that decision. And so I just felt very pulled on my heart to say that, because the last couple of days, my energy has been through the roof. I've been creating content again for my social media, which I haven't really felt energized to do when I was a social media manager, because I was so focused on all my clients' social media that by the time it came time to do my own, I was just like, man, I was bored of it. I was over it. And now I'm having fun with it again, which is something I always used to love to do. And I'm just revisiting so many areas of my life that I've kind of forgotten about as I packed all these things onto my life. I just signed up for a women's league to play basketball again. Could not be more excited about that. Again, I'm starting my business in a couple of weeks, my new business, which I'm super excited about. YouTube has definitely been something on the forefront of my mind that I want to take on in a different capacity. I'm thinking I want to change some things with my podcast as well, which is super exciting. I'm just a little bit bored right now. And if I'm bored as the host, that's not a good thing. I don't want to put out content energetically that I feel bored as the host. And so I'm looking to kind of pivot things a little bit and shift what that looks like. And so definitely stay tuned for that. It's been keeping me up at night. And so as I connect the dots, I will definitely keep you guys updated. But for now, we're going to keep on keeping on and just coming on here and sharing. And I will say I have been bored, but I'm still very excited. And there's never a week that passes that I do not want to come on here. And so as always, I'm very excited to jump on here. And today I wanted to share with you guys some questions to help raise your self-awareness. It is the time of year of reflection and renewal and just taking some time to process and taking some time to reflect. And I think more this year than ever, this has kind of been the theme that I'm seeing on social media, where people are taking time to just take a step back, to analyze, to watch the movie of their life and just try to figure out what their next step is. And I've been very heavy in reflecting and I'm looking over here because my different cards are over here, my tarot cards and affirmation cards and oracle cards and all that stuff is over here. I've been deep into that. I've been enjoying reading again, and just something seems like it shifted. And it's such a beautiful energy. If you're feeling that energy as well, and I hope that you are, I hope that you just enjoy this and don't tell yourself that this is going to pass. Sit in this and absorb it and know that you earned this and you're ready for this. But I wanted to think of some questions that I've kind of been reflecting on for myself, and I want to share with you guys. And I think that it's really important to ask yourself what your relationship is even with reflecting, with taking the time to raise your awareness. Because the more that we raise our awareness and we get to know ourselves, the more we get to know what our interests are, we get to know where, what's most aligned for us, what our passions are, what our dharma is. So that's like our soul's purpose of why we're here. But when we avoid self-awareness and we avoid getting to know ourselves, we're kind of just painting a picture of ourselves on maybe what our childhood was, what other people says we are. We allow our job to paint the identity of who we are, or the sum of the people we hang out with. And so it's really important that we don't assume that our identity is locked in stone. Who Jessie is now versus who Jessie was even 3 months ago is two completely different people. At the heart center, I'm the same person. But there are so many things that have shifted, and that's a beautiful thing. That is not something to say like, oh, well, you're not the same person. It's like, no, like I am the same person, but I've grown, and you have too. And it's really important that your mind catches up with all that growth that has been happening, even if you don't realize or give yourself the credit that it's been happening. And so the first question that I would love you guys to reflect for yourself is, will you be okay if come this time next year, everything in your life is exactly how it is right now? Will you be okay with that? So this is looking at all aspects of your life. This is looking at your physical environment. This is looking at your career. This is looking at money in your bank account. This is looking at, how you view yourself, self-image, exercise, habits, people. Will you be okay in 365 days from today if your life looks the exact same? And if the answer is no, which I hope the answer is no, what is it that you need to work on? This question allows you to target what it is you need to work on and shift in your life. And you might be thinking like, inevitably things are going to shift. The purpose of this question isn't to, express that everything's going to be the same by nature, because inevitably things are going to look different. But it allows you to be intentional about how you're going to show up for the next year. Which areas really stick out that you're like, I don't want that area to be the same. I really want to work on that area. And it just raises your awareness for yourself of where you need to be focusing more time, effort, energy, and money. And so that is the first question that I would encourage you to take time to reflect on. And all these can be done in 30 seconds or up to 30 minutes and beyond. Sometimes I reflect on a question and then I come back to it and I'm like, I'd really like to go deeper on that. Or I don't really have anything to say about that question right now. I'm going to think on it and just notice what comes up. And so just notice when you ask that question, maybe some of the first things that pop into your consciousness, because those are probably some things subconsciously that you're not even realizing, and your soul is like, we need to work on this. Like, this is something. For me, when I asked myself this question, a huge thing was around just my general knowledge. And so I've started reading a lot more. I've been watching documentaries, very intentionally listening to podcasts. I've noticed my memories improved in the last 2 weeks just by getting rid of, again, that heaviness that was holding me back, that mental fog that was sitting in because of all the stress that I had. Since I've gotten rid of all that, I've just felt, it sounds silly, but smarter. I feel like I'm remembering things where a month ago someone would tell me something or I would learn a fact and I would forget it in 5 minutes. And so I encourage you to just notice what comes up first and how can you invest your energy to focus on that for the next year. Okay, these are all very, very different questions, by the way. They don't really flow with each other. I just thought of them and I was like, these are the questions that I think you should reflect on. So the second one is, where do I keep letting myself down? Where do you keep letting yourself down? For me, again, the same area, it was reading. I was like, I'm gonna read, and then guess what? I didn't read. Each of us have an area of our life that we are not perfect in, that we want to do better in, but something always comes up of why we don't do it. And sometimes it's not on purpose, but also without intentionality and actually trying to do it, it's really, really easy to continue to let yourself down. And so asking yourself, where am I letting myself down, raises your awareness, because when you can begin to shift that and show up for yourself, your level of self-love is inevitably going to increase exponentially. Because whenever we let ourselves down, it's almost like we're stabbing ourselves in the back. Another area for me is yoga. I used to be so big into yoga. And I still practice like every now and again, but definitely not to the degree that I used to. And I really beat myself up about it all the time. And so I'm so grateful my partner got me a membership to go back to yoga. So I'm really, really excited to dive back in. But I could feel that on my heart and affecting me subconsciously because I kept letting myself down. There's at least one major area of your life that should you focus a little more energy into that area of your life, you would thank yourself and you would begin to feel so much better. Another area for me was diving into my spirituality. I've really been focusing for the last 2 weeks since we came into the new year on dabbling into spirituality and talking to my spirit guides and using my cards and using meditation and music and dance. And I've never felt more like myself. And it's helped my mental health so much. It doesn't have to be something big, but where in your life do you keep letting yourself down? Number 3 is a fun one. What are you really proud of? What are you really proud of the last year, of just your life, of what you've overcome, of what you've gone through, of what you've done? Allow yourself permission to reflect what you're really proud of about yourself. It could literally be, I love this bookshelf that I built. I love that. Or I'm really proud that I graduated high school. I'm really proud that I got out of bed this morning. Or I'm really proud that I started my business. There's no right answer to this. It just has to be right to you. But what is something in your life that you're really proud of yourself for? Are you allowing your self-capacity to celebrate yourself? It's so easy to say you're proud of the people around you for all these things. But when's the last time you took a moment to be proud of yourself, to give yourself that same level of love and validation? Imagine how good that would feel to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm so proud of you for blank. Think of how that would feel, and maybe it would feel icky. But over time of continuing to celebrate and honor the things you're proud of for yourself, it starts to get a little bit easier. But maybe start with just doing pen to paper, the things that you're proud of, and find a list for yourself. Once you have that list, even if it's 1 to 2 things, put that somewhere that you can look at it all the time and celebrate. I'm really leaning into self-celebration. As someone who has always neglected my emotions and my accomplishments and even just things I've overcome and just dismissed the hard work that I've done, I'm so done with that. It's like it serves no purpose. And I don't say any of these things to be arrogant or to sound like I think I'm so much better or I've done all these things. But it's empowering and it's validating to take a moment to just thank yourself for all the things that you're doing because you deserve it and you deserve that recognition. Number 4, what makes me feel the most like myself? Let this be the year that anything that doesn't make you feel like you or make you feel good or aligned, we get rid of it. What are you waiting for? And again, I'm a hypocrite. And this takes so much time to do, but let this be the year that you really hyper-focus on getting the things out of your life that do not make you feel like yourself. And you might be thinking, well, how do I know that? Your intuition will tell you. Your gut will tell you if something is not right for you. The question is whether or not we listen. That's a whole other can of worms. There's been times in my life when I've done things, been around certain people, taken on jobs, taken on hobbies, and my gut is just like, nope. And what happens to most of us is we ignore that. And we justify and we say, oh, like it's fine, like I'm just nervous, or I've never done this, it makes sense, like blah, blah, blah. And we excuse our way through uncomfortability. You will know when something makes you feel the most like yourself. You will not have to overthink it. You will be in joy. You will be in flow. Time will pass by effortlessly. You will not have to force it. You'll feel in your body. You'll feel calm. You'll just know. And if your whole life, you can't have capacity in your whole life to make everything feel like you are the most you. How can you create capacity intentionally every single day to make sure there's something in your daily practice every single day that makes you feel like the most you? For me lately, that's been meditating. I've found such love again for just coming into my body and just noticing my breath, noticing what comes up in my mind. And it's been a very beautiful practice that I'm so grateful to have back in my life, and it makes me feel like myself. Sometimes it's about rediscovering those things for us or trying new things. Maybe you're not sure what makes you feel like the most like yourself. That's why trying new things is so important in how we learn to get to know ourselves. But start by recognizing the things that don't make you feel like yourself and try to avoid those things as much as possible. Last but not least, number 5. What is something you've always wanted to do but have never done? And then to follow that up, why? Why have you not done it? Why are you not doing it? For me, this has been to learn an instrument. I used to play piano when I was little. I have not played an instrument. I guess I dabble with the ukulele, but I would definitely not say I play the ukulele. But I have wanted to learn how to play violin for years. As soon as I hear violin, I listen to violin on YouTube pretty much every single day. It is one of my favorite instruments to listen to. And I'm like, I would love to learn how to play that. How many of us say that? I would love to blank. And it's like, okay, well then why aren't you doing it? And the reason being is I don't have a good enough reason. I just haven't done it. It's not a very good excuse, is it? I just haven't. It's like, okay, well, you're not just gonna magically wake up one day and know how to play violin. You're gonna have to go to the lessons and hire someone and invest in it and do the things and practice over and over and over again. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take commitment. What's something that you've said you've always wanted to do but you haven't done it? And then what's the why? Is it time? Is it fear? Is it money? Is it resources? What is it that's stopping you? But first figure out what is something that you keep telling yourself you want to do. Why is it that you want to do it? How is that going to benefit your life? What is the contrast between you now and you, the version of you that has done that thing? Is it worth the investment to get to that version of you? And if the answer is yes, then what are we waiting for? It's time. Okay, so we all have things, and you might have 50 answers to this question. There's so many things that I've said that I want to do that I've never done. But that is the main one that sticks out that I'm like, okay, well maybe one day. It's like, no, it's time. It's time. And so asking yourself what's something you've always wanted to do, and then ask yourself, how will it feel once you do it? That's the new mindset of manifestation that I've been getting in. It's like the emotion tapped into that feeling that's associated with once you've done it. How is that gonna feel? That determines if something is worth it, because if that feeling isn't something that you would chase and crave, it's not worth it. So those are the 5 questions that I have for you guys to help raise your self-awareness and to just work on your relationship with yourself a little bit deeper. We all have reflection questions that we love to do, different ways to check in with ourselves, but I think that these really highlight various degrees and areas of how we can get to know ourselves and begin to shift our precious energy and time into things that would better serve our quality of life. So I hope you take the time to do these. If you enjoyed these or you enjoyed one more than the other, whatever it is, I would love to know. Send me a message, comment below, share this with someone you think would enjoy. We've been growing very slowly, but also so much gratitude over on YouTube, which is so exciting. Our little family is getting bigger, our Rewire to Inspire family. I'm so grateful, I'm so happy, and I'm just really excited for all that's to come on this platform. Again, I don't really know what this looks like for the unforeseeable future. I'm gonna keep on keeping on, content is still coming, but I really think I'm gonna switch the lens in which this looks like and how I deliver content. So stay tuned, so much love. If no one's told you today, I care about you so deeply, and you're doing so much better than you could ever imagine. And I look forward to chatting with you all on Thursday. Bye, you guys.